How do we respond to the claim that evolution has a mountain of evidence and therefore rejecting it in favor of Christianity is irrational? The argument assumes that evidence for evolution automatically disproves Christianity, but that's a false dichotomy. First, Christianity is not dependent upon rejecting every aspect of evolutionary theory. Pretty much everyone accepts the idea of microevolution, which is basically that there are certain small changes that take place within a species over time. I'm not going to try to argue that birds don't have a common bird ancestor. We do, however, reject the idea that the complexity of life comes from random processes that spontaneously came about on their own. So the real question isn't about adaptation, but whether or not there is an intelligent and intentional design. Let's also remember that evidence is always subjective to interpretation. The same data, like fossils, genetics, and biological adaptation, can be viewed through very different lenses. The arrogance to think that there is only one interpretation of the data and that no respected researchers or scientists disagree with you is ridiculous. It's exactly what I see with atheists. It's not, hey, you have evidence, I have evidence, here's why I think that mine's better. It's always, that's the only evidence, that's the only opinion. No one else thinks the way you do except these fringe religious extremists. I wouldn't throw stones if you live in a glass house, sir. But we all have our different presuppositions. Atheists believe in blind chance. Christians believe in intelligent design. Let's remember that even leading scientists admit to gaps in evolutionary theory. Like the complete and utter lack of transitional fossils. Why is the missing link still missing, sir? Let's also remember that Christianity is built off of historical and philosophical truths as well as scientific ones. The Bible is not primarily interested in answering questions around how God did things so much as what he did and why. Science does help us understand how things work, but they can't answer why they work or why they exist, why those things are there in the first place. So the claim that evolution disproves Christianity assumes much more than it proves. Science can describe nature, it can point us to God, but it cannot describe him. Just as heaven is higher than earth, so are my thoughts higher than yours, so are my ways higher than yours. The critical flaw of atheism is thinking that we're more intelligent than God, or that through intelligence we can become like God. What does that remind you of? I think it's Genesis 3, something like that? God bless.